When society breaks, people don't react the way you expect. Food runs low, the lights go out, fear spreads. But the most dangerous threat isn't the collapse itself. It's the people shaped by it. Some become unpredictable, some turn aggressive, and some hide their intentions behind a calm smile. If you can't read them early, everything you've prepared can disappear in one single encounter. When systems fail, most people focus on supplies, water, generators, and maps. And they should, but there is something even more important. Something that decides whether your preparations protect you or put a target on your back. It is human behavior. In every major breakdown, from blackouts to civil unrest, the real danger escalates when fear, scarcity, and pressure start reshaping the people around you. That is why today we are not talking about gear, we are talking about people. We will break down 3 behavioral profiles that appear again and again when society is under stress. You will learn how to recognize them before they get close, what signals reveal their intentions, and how to protect your family without turning a tense encounter into a fight you never wanted. And this matters now more than ever, because the world is tense, trust is fragile, and small sparks are already showing how quickly the mood of a community can shift. If you want clear, practical analysis without hype, subscribe to SafetyZone. Before we break down the 3 profiles, there is something you need to understand, because without it, those profiles look like labels, not warnings. In every real collapse, the first danger is not who people are, it is how fast they change. When stress hits, the brain stops working the way you know. It cuts corners, it misreads intentions, it amplifies fear, and it pushes people toward instincts they did not even know they had. That shift is why a calm neighbor can become unpredictable in a single afternoon, why a stranger who looks harmless can turn opportunistic, and why someone trained or experienced can read the situation faster than you. If you skip this part, you see behaviors, but you do not understand what drives them. And when you do not understand the engine, you miss the signals that tell you who is safe, who is unstable, and who is hunting for advantage. That is why this foundation matters, because the 3 profiles we are about to analyze are not theories, they are patterns born from this shift. And once you see what triggers them, you can spot them long before they show their intentions. When stress reshapes behavior, the first pattern you meet is the person who has already lost more than the situation can take from them. This profile appears quickly in any collapse, because desperation is the fastest transformation of all. They are the ones who watch their resources vanish, their support network disappear, and their sense of control break long before you cross paths with them. And that is what makes them dangerous. Not malice, but the absence of anything to hold them steady. Their mind narrows to a single need: water, food, pain relief, and when all they see is the next minute, every interaction becomes fragile. One sentence can calm them, another can trigger panic, and a simple refusal can feel like a threat. The signals often show before the words do. Their eyes move without focus, scanning for something they cannot explain. Their body shifts restlessly. They stand too close. Their voice jumps between pleading and irritation, and their attention locks on whatever they think you might have. When you see these signs, the goal is not to fix them or fight them, but to protect your own without feeding the escalation. Keep your distance in a way that feels firm, not hostile. Speak slowly, give short, clear instructions, and never offer critical supplies. Offer direction instead. Go this way, check that place, move now. Structure reduces tension because it gives their mind something to follow. Do not touch them, do not debate, and once the interaction ends, end it completely. In a collapse, desperation does not need an enemy. It only needs an opportunity, and your job is to make sure your family never becomes that opportunity. After desperation comes a very different threat: the skilled operator, the kind of person who does not break when the system collapses, but sharpens. Unlike the unpredictable swing of someone who has lost everything, this profile moves with calculation, not instinct. They are not defined by violence, they are defined by control. Many come from military units, security work, Gangs or high-pressure environments, and some are civilians who have trained quietly for years, but all share the same trait. They act with purpose while others stall. If the first profile flinches at chaos, this one uses it. Picture a moment where everyone is confused, heads turning in different directions. The skilled operator is the only one already scanning for exits, counting people and choosing where to stand. Not because they are afraid, but because they are planning. Their signals are consistent if you know how to look. Posture angled toward the environment instead of you. Eyes mapping corners, sightlines and blind spots before a single word is exchanged. Voice steady, questions short and controlled, yes or no, where or when or who. They make suggestions that feel like decisions, and most people follow without noticing the shift. The danger is not open aggression, but the speed at which they can move from polite conversation to decisive action if something does not fit their expectations. Protecting your family from this profile does not mean challenging them. Confrontation is exactly what gives them the advantage. It means managing the frame, keeping the interaction short, calm, and clean. Never reveal what you store, never bring them to your home, and if you must meet or trade, choose neutral ground and control the timing. Arrive last, leave first, because time is leverage, and whoever controls it shapes the encounter. With a skilled operator, the goal is simple: acknowledge the threat without feeding it, offer cooperation without dependence, and end the exchange before the situation shifts into a domain where they hold all the initiative. The third profile is the one most people never register until it is inside the perimeter. It does not look like a threat because it uses warmth as a tactic. Where desperation is noisy and the skilled operator is calculated, this one arrives through kindness, cooperation as a key in the lock. They show up with a helpful smile and an offer that seems harmless. A cup of coffee on your porch, a suggestion to help carry water, a quick look at the generator because they know engines. But the real objective is always the same: access, information, leverage. They want proximity, not confrontation. And once they sit at your table, they learn your routines. When you cook, when you sleep, who is vulnerable, how your home breathes. The signals are quiet but repeatable. Friendly too early. Trust offered before it makes sense. Casual questions about supplies and safety disguised as small talk. A story that shifts slightly depending on who listens. A habit of mirroring your tone, your posture, your concerns, blending in as a method. When you see this pattern, slow everything down and narrow the channel. Verify one detail at a time. Wait 10 seconds longer before answering. Watch if the story holds or adjusts to your reaction. Never show stockpiles. Never invite anyone unvetted across your threshold. And use fixed routines to limit what any outsider can observe. Who cooks, who watches, who moves, and when. If inconsistencies stack, close the interaction cleanly without explanations. The more you explain, the more you teach. This profile rarely pushes a door. It waits for you to open it. Your job is to make sure that door stays shut. When the world around you becomes unpredictable, the only structure you can rely on is the one you build inside your home. And that structure does not need to be complex. It needs to be solid. In every real collapse, families that hold together do it for one reason: everyone knows exactly what they are supposed to do. Clear roles reduce panic, because when fear rises, the brain stops analyzing and starts following the last instruction it remembers. One person watches the surroundings, one manages water, one handles food, one stays close to the vulnerable members, and everyone knows when to rotate. Short routines matter more than perfect plans because tired people execute habits, not strategies. And you need signals that cut through confusion: a word, a gesture, a tone that means stop, come back, stay quiet. They sound simple now, but when adrenaline hits, they are the difference between order and chaos. The doorway of your home is the real breaking point. Most families lose control not because they are weak, but because they hesitate with the wrong person at the wrong time. Decide in advance where you speak to outsiders, how far from the entrance they stay, how long the conversation lasts, and what information never leaves your circle. Predictability inside creates opacity outside, and that is what protects you, because people who observe you do not need to see your strength. They look for your openings, your routines, your pauses. If your family is aligned, those openings disappear. And when outsiders cannot read you, they move on. In a collapse, your walls are not your defense, your coordination is. When your family is aligned, the next skill is speed. Because you rarely have more than a few seconds to judge a stranger, so learn to read people in 15 seconds. Not as a trick, but as a disciplined routine. You can repeat. Start by establishing the baseline. Watch how they move and talk the moment they arrive. That neutral behavior is your reference. Then search for mismatches. The fastest red flags are body and voice that contradict each other, a steady tone with jerky movements, a smile that never reaches the eyes, or answers that lag while the body leans forward. Those are signs their attention is not calm. Note orientation. Where the feet point tells intentions quicker than the eyes. Feet toward the exit suggest escape. Feet or torso angled to you, or the interior suggest approach or interest. Watch the hands, closed fists, hidden hands, or constant touching of pockets indicate tension or concealment. Listen to language patterns. Short closed questions are a control tactic. Long stories that avoid specifics are camouflage. Use a simple probe you already know the answer to. Ask it calmly and watch the reaction. If the answer shifts or the story changes twice, that inconsistency is not confusion. It is a signal. Manage space with micro movements. A half step back creates distance without escalation. A half step forward with an open palm creates a pause. Both are non-verbal tools to control the interaction. And remember, this is not about profiling or prejudice. It's about reducing uncertainty. If multiple signals stack up, end the contact politely and move to a neutral public place or return home. Practice the routine so it becomes automatic, because calm, repeated observation beats instinct every time. Before you trust anyone, run 3 questions through your mind, not as paranoia, but as a filter that cuts through the noise. First ask, what is this person really trying to get right now? Not what they say, but what their behavior points toward. People under pressure reveal intent through direction, not words. Then ask, how do they react to a clear and final no? Deny a request gently but firmly, and watch the shift in posture, breathing, tone. A stable person absorbs the boundary. An unstable one pushes, negotiates, or bristles, and that reaction tells you more than any introduction. Finally, ask why now? Why approach at this moment? What changed for them? Because timing is rarely random in a collapse. If you cannot find a credible answer to all 3, the decision is already made. Protect your family and end the interaction, not with aggression, but with clarity. Opportunities can be regained. Breached security cannot. In a world where confusion becomes a weapon, caution is not fear. It is strategy. When a society collapses, it is not the walls that break first. It is the behavior of people. The rules fade, the masks fall, and what remains is instinct, fear, and intention. That is why real preparedness is not the gear you own. It is the ability to read a person before that person reads you. The 3 profiles we explored are not fiction. They are patterns that show up in every major crisis, from long blackouts to civil unrest to economic breakdowns. Under pressure, people shift into predictable modes, and if you learn to recognize those modes early, you protect your family long before danger reaches your door. Strength in a collapse is not aggression, it is clarity. It is the discipline to keep boundaries firm, interactions short, and emotions cold enough to make decisions before the situation forces your hand. Because survival is never just about resources, it is about perception, judgment, and the ability to understand human nature when normality disappears. If you want clarity, not fear, stay with SafetyZone. And tell me this, what type of behavior have you seen in real life that would worry you the most if society ever slipped into chaos?